Okay, welcome. Welcome to KBC. Oh, here we go. Let's see. Put this. Come on. There we go. Hello. Welcome to KBC and to Saturday morning's meditation. So we are also live streaming. Let's see here. So whenever we sit down to do meditation or to listen to a Dharma teaching, it's always so important to establish the right motivation. So why are we here? Why are we doing this? And we talk a lot about bodhicitta here, which is the compassionate wish to free all beings from suffering. So really that is the starting point of all of our activity here and with meditation. And that's the starting point on the path as well. So we're establishing that motivation to be of benefit in any way possible to all sentient beings, and that we may relieve their suffering. And so when we sit down to meditation, we also start with motivation like this. So let's take a moment to establish that in our minds, that whatever we do today, whatever benefit we create, whatever we learn, that we dedicate that to the benefit of all beings. All right, so we'll start with the 7-line prayer, our opening prayers, which is the front of your sheet here. We'll chant that 3 times in Tibetan, and I'll put it up on the screen. There we go. Organ yugi nucham sam pemange sadom pola yasan shogi no june pemajung ne shesudra koryu kandrom ambokor keki jesu dag druki chinjilop shir sheksu so Guru Bema Siddhi Hum Organ Yogi Nucham Sam Pemange Sardom Pola Yasan Chogi No Drugne Pemajung Shesudra Koryu Kandrom Ambokor Keki Jesu Dag Druki Chinjilop Shir Sheksu So Guru Bema Siddhi Hum Organ Yogi Nucham Sam Pemange Sardom Bola Yasan Chogi No Drugne Bema Jungne Shesudra Koryu Kandrom Ambokor Keki Jesu Dag Druki Chinjilop Shir Sheksu So Guru Bema Siddhi Hum. All right. Okay, so in this class, we'll be doing 3 different types of meditation. So one's to help stabilize our mind and also open our heart. So the first meditation we're doing today is called calm abiding or Shamatha meditation. And each week we always go over what is meditation? What's the point of meditation? So meditation is the natural state of our mind when it's relaxed, when it's stable and open. It also trains our mind to be more relaxed and yet also wakeful and alert. So we can think about all the demands of our modern life and how it's so easy for our mental space to just be filled up, busy, inflamed. And we think of all the things we do for ourselves and others. Maybe, we eat healthy food, or we, work out or go to the doctor to keep our body healthy. But what are we doing for our minds? Because really, again, we can see how easy it is to live in this day and age and have such a inflamed and reactive mind, or fearful mind, or anxious mind. Um, so we, with meditation, we really get that opportunity to rest the mind, to give it a little bit of a break, to find that pause, before our reactions and our emotions take over. So really, allowing that spaciousness to come in and to settle into our minds. And the whole point of meditation is to create more spaciousness in our mind. So it's very important too on the Buddhist path, because it's the very first step in developing bodhicitta. So if we're so like consumed in our own thoughts and our own self-cherishing or ego clinging, and we're just always busy, busy, busy in our minds, we never let our mind rest. How can we possibly think of benefiting other beings? Or how can we possibly think to let a little light in, or a little space in, to consider others, beyond just our own consideration of ourselves? So, and just like a muscle, we can train our mind to be more stable, to be more open. So we might find the first time we do meditation that our mind is all over the place. And we might not even recognize how busy our minds are until we try meditation for the first time. We see, oh my gosh, there's so much going on there. So we can train in this, though. We can get better at, or let's say, more stable. We can be more stable and calm and relaxed in our minds. So meditation is kind of like a long game. You might feel the benefits after one session, but it's really a long-term practice that we return to again and again. And right now we're doing a more formal meditation, but you can take meditation wherever you go. You can take a minute of meditation when you're waiting in line, or when you're about to get out of your car to go do something. Just taking those moments and finding those moments so that it's not so separate from you. You're not estranged. You become friends with your meditation and friends with your mind. Let's, everyone's sitting in a relaxed position, but we want to have our spine lifted. So nothing about meditation is really rigid. So again, we're lifted spine, but not overly tense. And then we're just going to be breathing naturally. We might take a few deep breaths to get to that natural rhythm of your breath. And for this meditation, we're keeping our eyes open, not like staring open, but just very relaxed, opening and gazing down towards the floor. And if it's helpful, you can almost imagine a line from the bridge of your nose extending out to the floor, and picking a point on that line to rest your gaze. And again, we're breathing naturally, our shoulders back, elbows back. And then the traditional posture for our hands would be the right hand over the left with the thumbs touching. And then that's in your lap like that. It's easier to put your hands on your thighs or knees if you're sitting in a chair. That's fine too. And we're also we have our mouth slightly open, just ever so slightly open. So there's just a little bit of air coming through the mouth as well. And we do that by putting the tip of our tongue on the back of our front teeth, like we're saying the letter L. So just lightly resting there. And again, breathing as naturally as possible. And the whole focus of our meditation is our breath. So in other meditations, you might be focusing on something, maybe a statue or a candle or a flower. Today, we're going to be focusing on the breath, and your breath is always with you, so you can always do this. So when any thought arises, we're just gently directing our mind back to the breath. So a thought arises, we say, okay, back to the breath. We don't have to punish ourselves for having thoughts. We don't have to judge ourselves. We don't have to say, oh, my mind is so busy today. We just drop it and return to the breath. Our meditation isn't lost by having thoughts. It's lost when we go down the road with those thoughts and we let them multiply into many, many more thoughts. So if you find this difficult, you can also even imagine like cutting the thought or tossing the thought out and returning to the breath. And when you return to the breath and you're focusing on the breath, it's not a heavy attention on the breath. It's a very light attention. It's like a gossamer thin attention on the breath. Your attention is like a feather gently riding the surface of your breath. So again and again, returning to the breath. And we're going to do this for just a little warm-up round. It's always advised when you're starting meditation to just start where you're at and do a do a shorter amount of time and then build up over time. Maybe some of you are regular meditators and a few minutes is nothing for you. But today we're just going to do shorter sessions. So we'll just warm up for a few minutes on my little timer here. Okay. Starting now. All right. So we're going to try this a little bit longer. And see how we do. returning to the breath again and again whenever we feel distracted by our thoughts. Just gently returning to the breath. You can come in. Now that our minds are more relaxed, more spaciousness and stability in our mind, then we'll do a practice to help develop our heart. So the practice of Tonglen, or giving and receiving, is done to help develop our compassion and our ability to be present for our own suffering and the suffering of others. So this practice trains us in the energy of loving kindness, and it opens our heart to suffering and helps to transform it into well-being. So in this practice, we actually imagine we're taking on the suffering of others into ourselves, and we're sending them every, all happiness, all joy, all of our good qualities. So this is a mental exercise, and in the immediate present, we're not actually taking all their suffering away, but we're gradually, with this practice, we're kind of chipping away at our own self-grasping and ceasing to care about ourselves so much over others. So with this practice, it helps develop a deeper wish to benefit beings, and also helps us create more equanimity, or establish more equanimity in our minds about all beings. So we're going to just stay in our meditation posture. And then we're going to envision one or two beings for whom you easily feel compassion towards. And maybe their suffering particularly touches you. Maybe the thought of them suffering is just an awful thought to bear. And this could be a parent or a sibling, or a child, a friend. It could even be a pet, anyone who you easily feel compassion towards. So you're going to imagine that you're going to really imagine their suffering, or whatever they're going through, or their sadness, their misery. Imagine what that might be like to really be in their shoes, really stand in their shoes, and let that help you give rise to compassion for them. So just really imagining having that empathy. What would it be to feel that way, or experience that suffering? So let that well up compassion in your heart. So you're cultivating the fervent wish to relieve their suffering and to secure their happiness. So you're going to do this with the breath. So we're going to all do this together, where we use our breath, the natural rhythm of our breath, to do this exercise. So we're imagining, when we inhale through our nose, that we're taking in all the causes and conditions for their suffering. And then we're taking that in as like a dark smoke, actually taking that in as a dark smoke, and imagining that they're completely free from all their suffering, all their misery, all their sadness, anything that they're experiencing in that way. They're completely free of that. And then as you exhale, you're imagining that all of your happiness, all causes of happiness and joy, and enduring happiness, radiates out from you in this pure, limitless light, this pure radiant light. And you're imagining that they experience this complete joy. So they're receiving that fully. So, a simplified way to think about it might be, as you breathe in, may you be free from suffering. And as you exhale, may you be happy. So really just imagining, what would it be like to really take all their suffering away and give them all your happiness. So we're going to try this for a few minutes. And again, you can switch. Maybe there's one person or two, or you can switch out who you're doing this for. Okay, let's try this. All right. So we're gonna repeat this exercise again, and this visualization. And this time, we're gonna pick one or two people that we are easily angered by, or maybe if it's not like an anger or rage thing, maybe it's a frustration and annoyance thing. And this sometimes can be harder to do because we often think, okay, maybe this person hurt us in some way. Maybe this person, we feel like they don't deserve our love. They don't deserve our, sending them happiness. We don't want to take away their suffering. Maybe there's just feelings of, it's hard, like a hardness around our heart with this person. But the whole point of this practice is, again, to recognize that all beings want to be happy. Maybe they don't know how to do that. Maybe they're hurting people in trying to find and secure their own happiness. But recognizing that, that place of confusion or that place of suffering, just actually really wanting to relieve them of that suffering. So even if this person, again, makes you angry, makes you upset, Could you imagine if you were to relieve all their suffering, how happy they would be, who they would be, if you could just take that all away and give them every source of happiness, every source of love and compassion to them. So again, we're trying to widen the net of our love and compassion, and eventually having it be something that we can easily feel towards all beings, even if we don't know them, even if, we can understand that all beings suffer, and that, we wish that they were happy. So let's try this again. Again, one or two beings that really get under our skin. Okay. Good way to put it. All right. We'll just try this for a few minutes. All right, and then we'll just do one more minute, and this time we'll just expand the group beyond one or two beings and make it a larger group of people for which we have feelings of aversion towards, or anger or upset. We'll just do one more minute of that. So we'll do one more short, just guided meditation to wrap up. And you can just listen along. I do want to mention before we start with that, that every Sunday we have, through the blessing of our teacher, Jetsunma Lama, we have our resident Kempo Karze, who teaches here every Sunday at 11:30. So he'll be here tomorrow teaching. So he teaches on different topics on Buddhism. And he also does a meditation and a Q&A. So it's a great time for any questions. And then we finish with a short Chinrezi practice, which is just a mantra recitation of Om Mani Padme Hum. So that's tomorrow at 11:30. And then right after that at 1 p.m. we have a drum circle by the Guru Rinpoche statue across the street. And we recite a different mantra with that too. And we have plenty of instruments. You're there every week. So come to that as well. So we'll finish with, this is a meditation that was written by our teacher, Jetsunma Lama. It's a light expansion. It's called the light expansion prayer. And again, like Tonglen, it's like sending out this absolute radiant light and expanding that out to all beings. So you can just listen along, and this will be the last thing we do before we dedicate. Let us become still. Take a deep breath. Let us center deep within. Center deep within. Deep within to the presence of the Absolute. And there is radiance. The presence of the Absolute increases and expands to embrace the physical body. And all of the physical body is filled with the presence of the Absolute. The presence of the Absolute increases and expands to fill our beings on all dimensions. And all that we are is filled with the radiance of the Absolute. The presence of the Absolute increases and expands to fill everyone here. And everyone here on all dimensions is filled with the presence of the Absolute. And all of this building is filled with the light of the Absolute. The presence of the Absolute increases and expands. And the government of this nation is filled with the radiance of the Absolute. And the people of this nation are one life. The presence of the Absolute increases and expands to embrace planet Earth. All nations and all governments are filled with the presence of the Absolute. And there is peace. And the 8 billion are one life, radiant. The presence of the Absolute increases and expands to fill this galaxy. All planets, all stars, and all life forms are within the embrace of the Absolute. The presence of the Absolute increases and expands to embrace the universe. All dimensions and all kingdoms are filled with the presence of the Absolute. And in all the universe, there is only one life. We continue to and to know union, that we are one. And with that, we will do our dedication prayers. So just seal in the benefit and virtue of doing this meditation today together. So we can do this. It's on the back of your sheet. I'll put it up here. There we go. Throughout my many lives and until this moment, whatever virtue I've accomplished, including the merit generated by this practice, and all that I will ever attain, this I offer for the welfare of sentient beings. May sickness, war, famine, and suffering be decreased for every being, while their wisdom and compassion increase in this and every future life. May I clearly perceive all experiences as to be as insubstantial as the dream fabric of the night, and instantly awaken to perceive the pure wisdom display in the arising of every phenomenon. May I quickly attain enlightenment in order to work ceaselessly for the liberation of all sentient beings. Buddhas and bodhisattvas altogether, whatever kind of motivation you have, whatever kind of beneficial action, whatever kind of wishing prayers, whatever kind of omniscience, whatever kind of life accomplishment, whatever kind of benevolent power, and whatever kind of immense wisdom you have, similarly I, who have come in the same way to benefit beings, pray to attain these qualities. By this effort, may all sentient beings be free of suffering. May their minds be filled with the nectar of virtue. In this way, may all causes resulting in suffering be extinguished, and only the light of compassion shine throughout all realms. Thank you all so much for being here today, and I hope you are able to enjoy this beautiful day and explore. There's many things to do and see, including many stupas and 65 acres of walking trails across the street. So if you haven't explored that yet, it's so beautiful. We have lovely koi ponds too down the way. If you look over there and you see the big flags up with the koi flags, it's a beautiful place to sit and have some lunch. And yeah, just walking trails, lots to see and do. So we do this meditation every Saturday at 11 a.m. And again, tomorrow at 11:30, Kempo Karze will be teaching. So thank you so much. And I'm going to end the live stream. Bye. Thank you. Is that Facebook live stream?